Have you ever felt alone and scared at home? Get ready to hear my true horror story about a lonely night when strange things started to happen. Hey, guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a chilling story to share with you. It all happened on a dark and silent night when I found myself alone at home. Little did I know that that would be the most terrifying night of my life. I vividly remember that dark night. I was still a child, and my parents were away from home. As the sun set outside, wind noises echoed through the hallways, like ghostly whispers dancing around me. I had never felt the atmosphere so full of mystery, as if something was about to happen. The antique furniture creaked ominously, as if they too felt the presence of an invisible specter wandering through the rooms. The darkness that filled every corner of the house seemed thicker than ever, and I could barely breathe under the weight of fear that was building in my chest. That night promised to be unlike any other, a night when I would discover the true meaning of terror. I decided that watching a comedy film might help me relax. I chose a romantic comedy, hoping to shake off the fearful thoughts that were beginning to consume me. However, as the funny scenes unfolded on the screen, the lights in the room began to flicker erratically and ominously. At first, I thought it was just a common electrical problem, but I soon realized something more sinister was going on. Every time the lights went out and came back on, there seemed to be something moving in the dim light, too fast for me to make out. The intermittent glow of the television reflected strange shadows on the walls, distorting them and turning inanimate objects into menacing silhouettes. A feeling of dread began to envelop me, as if I were under the watchful eye of something that could not be seen. My muscles tensed, and I could barely pay attention to the film, completely absorbed by the growing terror that permeated the environment. Each shadow that danced on the wall of the room seemed to have a life of its own, moving in a sinister and threatening manner. My heart sank as I realized it wasn't just my mind playing with me. Something was actually moving there. A shiver ran down my spine as a denser, more defined shadow stood out from the others, taking the shape of a tall, slender figure. I remained motionless on the couch, mesmerized by the terror that paralyzed me. The figure seemed to slowly approach, as if it was detaching itself from the wall itself, defying the laws of reality. Its indistinct outlines made me doubt my sanity as I struggled to find a logical explanation for this supernatural apparition. It was as if a specter from the past was rising from the shadows, thirsting for revenge or lost to eternity. The chill that ran through my body was so intense that I could have sworn I felt the icy touch of death in the air, whispering a silent warning of imminent danger. The phone rang suddenly, breaking the oppressive silence that enveloped the house. My heart raced in my chest, and my entire body tensed at the shrill sound. With shaking hands, I answered the phone, but on the other end, there was nothing but an unsettling silence. A chilling sensation ran down my spine, as if something was watching my every move in that dark, silent room. And then, heavy, chilling breathing echoed through the receiver, so close and threatening that I felt filled with indescribable terror. It was as if darkness itself had gained a voice, whispering macabre secrets in my ear. My entire body shivered as I struggled to comprehend the distorted reality of this terrifying situation. As I remained sitting on the sofa, immersed in the dim light of the room, the sound of my footsteps echoed in the silence. However, something was wrong. The footsteps I heard were not mine. They seemed to approach slowly, as if each movement was filled with dark intentions. My heart raced inside my chest as I tried to rationalize the situation, to convince myself that it was just my mind playing tricks on me. However, each step resounded with increasing clarity, filling the room with a palpable sense of imminent danger. It was as if the very air was permeated with an unwanted presence, hanging over me like an ominous shadow. I barely dared to breathe too loudly, for fear of attracting the attention of whatever was sneaking up the stairs. In a mix of terror and sick curiosity, I found myself paralyzed on the couch, unable to tear my gaze away from the threatening darkness that crept across the threshold of the hallway door. That's when I saw the silhouette of a creature. It had no face, and all the parts of its body were crooked as if they were poorly fitted together. It was coming towards me slowly. I couldn't move. Luckily, my parents arrived just in time, and the creature disappeared. Since then, I've never been alone at home, and I always sleep with the lights on.